For this third session, I'm going to invite Robert here, and he's going to read our passage for us.
So we'll be reading from Genesis 27, verses 1 through 45. Very familiar story as we read through this in preparation of our hearts for the message we'll receive. When Isaac was an old man, and his eyes were so weak and he could no longer see, he called Esau, his older son, to him. "My son." "Here I am," he answered. Isaac said, "I am now an old man and don't know the day of my death. Now then, get your equipment, your quiver, your bow, and go out to the open country and to hunt some wild game for me. Prepare me a kind and tasty food I like, and bring it to me to eat, so that I may give you my blessing before I die." Now Rebekah was listening as Isaac spoke to his son Esau. When Esau left for the open country to hunt game and bring it back, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, "Look, I overheard your father say to your brother Esau, 'Bring me some game and prepare me some tasty food to eat, so that I may give you a blessing in the presence of the Lord before I die.' Now, my son, listen carefully and do what I tell you. Go out to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats, so I can prepare some tasty food for your father, just the way he likes it. Then take it to your father to eat, so that he may give you his blessing before he dies." Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, "But mother, Esau is a hairy man, while I have smooth skin. What if my father touches me? I would appear to be tricking him, and would bring down a curse upon myself rather than a blessing." His mother said to him, "My son, let the curse fall on me. Just do what I say. Go and get them for me." So he went and got them and brought them to his mother, and she prepared some tasty food, just the way his father liked it. Then Rebekah took the best clothes of Esau, her older son, which she had in the house, and then put them on her younger son Jacob. She also covered his hands with the smooth part of his neck with the goat skins. Then he handed her son Jacob the tasty food and the bread she had made. He went to his father and said, "My father." "Yes, my son," he answered. "Who is it?" Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Please sit up and eat some of my game, so that you may give me your blessing." Isaac said to his son, "How did you find it so quickly, my son?" "The Lord gave me success," he replied. Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Come near, so I can touch you, my son, and to know you are really my son Esau or not." Jacob went close to his father Isaac, who touched him and said, "The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau." He did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy like those of his brother Esau. So he proceeded to bless him. "Are you really my son Esau?" he asked. "I am," he replied. Then he said, "My son, bring me some of your game to eat, so that I may give you my blessing." Jacob brought it to him, and he ate, and he brought some wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Come here, my son, and kiss me." So he went to him and kissed him. When Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, and he blessed him and said, "The smell of my son is like the smell of the field, and the Lord has blessed. May God give you the heavens' dew and the earth's richness, and abundance of grain and new wine. May nations serve you, and peoples bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed." After Isaac finished blessing him, then Jacob had scarcely left his father's presence. His brother Esau came in from hunting. He too prepared some tasty food and brought it to his father. Then he said to him, "My father, please sit up and eat some of the game, so that you may give me your blessing." His father Isaac said to him, "Who are you?" "Well, I am your son," he answered, "your firstborn, Esau." Isaac trembled violently and said, "Who was it then that hunted the game and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came in, and I blessed him, and indeed he will be blessed." When Esau heard his father's words, he burst out in a loud and bitter cry and said to his father, "Bless me too, my father." But he said, "Your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing." Esau said, "Isn't he rightly named Jacob? This is the second time he had taken advantage of me. He took my birthright, and now he's taken my blessing." Then he asked, Haven't you reserved any blessing for me?" Isaac answered Esau, "I have made him lord over you, and have made all his relatives, his servants, and I have sustained him with grain and new wine. So what can I possibly do for you, my son?" Esau said to his father, "Do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me too, my father." And Esau wept aloud. His father Isaac answered him, "Your dwelling will be away from the earth's richness, away from the dew of heaven above. You will live by the sword, and you will serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you will throw his yoke from your neck." Esau held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him. He said to himself, "In the days of mourning for my father are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." When Rebekah was told that her older son Esau had said, she sent for her younger son Jacob and said to him, "Your brother Esau is planning to avenge himself by killing you. Now then, my son, do what I say. Flee at once to my brother Laban in Haran. Say to him, stay with him for a while until your brother's fury subsides. When your brother is no longer angry with you and forgets what you did to him, I'll send word to you to come back here. Why should I lose both of you in one day?"
Okay? Okay. Flight 2782 to Fairbanks, Alaska. Gate 12. Delayed 2 hours. I think I blew it. You want a good thing, but sometimes you don't get it the right way. I think I blew it. I got the good thing. You're looking at the next president and CEO of Energy Resources International. I got it. My grandfather started the company in the 1950s. We were a small oil outfit, headquartered in Dallas, but we were drilling in West Texas. We were doing okay. We had found a niche in the market. We were able to compete with the big oil companies. But about in the mid-'80s, my father realized that the trend for the future was going to move away from oil dependency. Convinced my grandfather to turn the company towards solar energy, to capture the rays of the sun in those small little cells that had the power to run engines and heat homes and make the world run. And so we turned the company toward solar energy. And over the past 40 years, we are now the leader in the world. No competitor knows as much as our company about solar technology. We have the potential to influence the whole world with it. You're looking at the next president of the company. And we're still a family-owned, privately held company. I got it. CEO of Energy Resources International. It wasn't the money. It wasn't the money that made me want it. I wanted to run the company because I knew that if my brother Eric ran it, he'd kill it. We have the potential right now not only to affect life in America, we can raise the standard of living throughout the entire third world. We can protect the environment. We can reduce poverty. We can be a source of blessing throughout the world, and every business and every government knows that. I had to have control of that. My brother Eric, he doesn't understand the business. He doesn't have the temperament to sit and plan globally. He's just too restless and impulsive. And he would not only kill the company financially, he would ruin the culture of the company. Right now, we're a company committed to Christian principles. I mean, everything in the company is centered on God. Dad, he's upfront about his Christian faith. Every conference he goes to, every contact he makes, every foreign leader he meets with, he's upfront about his faith. Everybody knows where Dad stands. Okay? Our company contributes unbelievably to Christian organizations. Dad's on the board of 2 or 3 parachurch organizations. He's been an elder for 20 years. He's been a silent, generous giver to the church. Eric would ruin all that. Eric doesn't come to church. I doubt that he's a believer. He doesn't have the values for the company. I wanted the control in order to continue the company, both as a financial business and as a Christian organization. I wanted to be CEO. It should have been mine. I shouldn't have had to do what I did to get it. I mean, everything pointed to me, everything. When we were born, my mom tells me, she says, when your brother came out, he just sort of lay there. When you came out, you were wiggling and moving and grabbing, and the nurses said, that one's got the brains. That one's got the energy. And then when we were dedicated in church, I mean, I've seen the video, okay? The pastor's holding both of us. Eric is a little bit bigger than I am, always has been. He's the older twin, so he's a little bit heavier. But the pastor doesn't know which one of us has been born first. He's just got 2 boys. Now, he's just sitting there kind of blah, looking at the audience. Me, I'm squirming, trying to get the pastor's ear mic to take it off. Okay, typical, grabbing. Okay? So the pastor's going to pray. He starts praying for me. And he prays that I would lead the family for God. That I would develop the resources that would bless the world. That I would continue the company in its godly pattern and example. Now, he prays for Eric too, but lesser stuff. Make him a joy to his parents and develop his care. But the leadership prayer, pastor doesn't know what he's doing, but he's being directed. It points to me. Okay? And Eric, he senses it pretty soon. We're growing up. He's bigger. He's faster, but I'm smarter. I'm the one who always has the ideas, the plans, the schemes. In high school, Eric, he's a jock, and he parties. In high school, I run student government and compete in academic decathlon. We're just opposites, okay? We both go to Baylor on scholarship. He's athletic scholarship. I'm academic scholarship. We join the same fraternity, but we have different roommates just so we get to know other people. But one day in our 3rd year, it turns out we both have the same economics class. And we're studying together a couple of days before the final to do it. And I'm looking over at Eric, and he has no clue what he's reading in that economics textbook. And he hasn't written the term paper for the class. 2 days before the class ends and before the final, hasn't written the term paper and hasn't a clue what's in. And he is just frustrated. He just leans back in his chair. And then I said something I've been planning to say for a long time. Hey, Eric, why don't you let me run the company? What? The family business. Why don't you let me be president? Run it. Yeah, fine. You can do it. Maybe I'll just take the customers golfing. Hey, swear to me. Swear to me that I can be president. You're serious? Yeah. All right, I'll tell you what. You write my economic term paper for me, I'll let you be president of the company. And he swore it. It should have been mine. Everything pointed to me. The nurses at the hospital, the pastor's prayer, even Eric giving it over to me. I don't know why Dad didn't see it. Well, I do know why Dad didn't see it. Mom and I, we used to talk all the time. Mom knew I should be president of the company. But the legal power to make that decision, that lay with Dad, only Dad. I don't know why he didn't see that I was more qualified. Yeah, but as I thought about it, Dad always had a blind spot toward Eric. That's because Eric was an athlete. I mean, in high school, he was all-state. College, he was all-conference. Played for the Cowboys. One year, he helped them win the Super Bowl. Catch in the end zone. 2 toes in. Dad has a picture of that blown up. Back door of his office. But after about 2 or 3 years, Eric blew out his knee. Boom! Couldn't play anymore. So he came to work for the company. By then, I had my MBA. I was in the company moving around from resources to human to accounting to sales to you name it. I was moving around every department, getting experience, learning the company. Eric came. Dad tried to plug him in. Nothing worked. I mean, Eric, he just, Finally, they found a spot for him in sales. He did what he said he would do. He took the clients golfing. He could schmooze with the clients. They got him to tell stories about playing for the Cowboys. They took pictures with him, and he autographed the pictures for their kids. And for a while, yeah, okay. But after a while, that wore off. I mean, it doesn't take too many years before you're yesterday's hero and nobody knows about you. The client's kids didn't know who he was, so they didn't care about a picture. Who's this? And it kind of looked like Eric. I mean, even when he'd go to a sales meeting, he had to take an account representative with him to explain the details and to work out the contract. And it became like, who needs Eric? Who needs Eric? He was getting very peripheral. And then his drinking. He started running with the Vegas crowd. Mom and Dad didn't know about his gambling. One day he called me. He said, James, I need some money really fast. If you don't give me some money, I'm going to be in trouble with some bad people. What finally got Dad's attention was when Eric showed up one day with a wife. A wife. Jody. Some bimbo cocktail waitress he had met on a weekend and married in Vegas showed up. I'm sure she inspired all those dumb blonde jokes. Oh, look, a dead bird. Where? We always knew when she was working on the company computers, there was always whiteout on the screen. One time she showed us a jigsaw puzzle that she had worked. She was so proud. She had finished it in 3 months. And on the cover of the box, it said 2 to 4 years. I shouldn't make fun of Jody. She's not as dumb as she looks, really. She figured out how things were heading in the company. She saw that Eric was getting pushed out more and more. And she got in his face. You better find yourself a spot, because if you don't get locked into a spot, you're going to be out in the cold pretty soon. And she started playing up to Dad, telling Dad that Eric had some great ideas for the company and he ought to make him president of the company. Mom was disgusted with Jody. She didn't like the way she dressed, didn't like her friends, didn't like what she did with her days. But most of all, she didn't like how she was playing up to Dad to get Eric to be the president. Mom knew that I should be the president. She also knew that Dad would make the decision. And I used to hear my folks arguing. She'd say to him, Ike, if you don't see what Joseph is doing, you're blind as a bat. Easy, Becky, easy. She's just looking out for her family. And besides, might not be a bad idea to make Eric president. He's got a way with people that might be good for the company. And they used to argue about it, so much so that Dad just finally stopped talking to her about the company business. He just dug in his heels and clammed up and wouldn't talk about it. Everything came to a head about 2 days ago. 2 days. For the past year, the company has been kind of treading water. Dad's eyes went bad. In fact, he's legally blind. As a result, he doesn't go to the downtown office. He stays at home in his office at home, and he's trying to run the company through the phone and through the computer and through the faxes and through the mail. He's trying to do it all at the home. But he has to have Mom help him because he can't see anything. So now she's back in the loop about the company business because she's reading the faxes and the mail and helping him, with everything. And they're arguing about it again. Dad also put on a lot of weight. I mean, when he's blind, he's sitting around all day long. Doesn't exercise, doesn't go out, just sits around. I think he's up to about 300 pounds by now. That's got Mom worried. At his age, at his weight, he could have a stroke. So when she gets through helping him with the business and everything before she leaves his office, she turns on the intercom so that she can hear him in any room of the house that she's in case he falls or cries. Well, 2 days ago, she heard something over the intercom that horrified her. She heard a conversation between Dad and Eric. Dad said to Eric, Eric, I don't know how long I had at my weight, my age, but anyway, I've decided I want to put my affairs in order, my personal affairs, and most importantly, the company affairs. I want to put them in order. I've had the lawyers draw up papers years ago where I could sign the papers and name one of my sons company president. They left the names blank because I hadn't made up my mind. But I've made up my mind. Eric, I want you to be the company president. I want us to sign the papers. And once they do, they're written in such a way it can never be changed. I had the lawyers write it up that nobody can challenge it in court. Even if I become disabled, nobody can get power of attorney and make it different. Once it's done, it's irrevocable and binding. I want us to sign it. I want your name on it. But Eric, before we do that, just for old time's sake, you remember how we used to go hunting? You and I, we'd go down to South Texas to that place we owned. We'd hunt for venison and we'd cook it up. And Eric, before we sign, I'd like to have a celebration of the past, and then we'll establish the future. Eric, go down to South Texas, where we used to go. Get some venison. Cook it up like I like it. Grilled corn, coleslaw, and those hard rolls from Vaughn's that I like. Bring it back. We'll have a feast. We'll sign the paper. Are you game? Was he game? This was his chance. He would get Jody off his back. He'd never have to worry about a salary. If he didn't understand the business, surely he could find somebody else in the business who could know what they were doing. Yeah, great idea, Dad. Memory meal, and then we'll establish the future. Let's do it. And he left. He got in his four-wheeler, and he headed down that afternoon into South Texas in order to get the venison. Mom heard all that on the intercom. She called me the next day at the downtown office. She said, I don't want to talk over the phone. I want to come down and have lunch with you. When we got there, she said, your dad is going to make Eric president of the company. We've got to stop that. What are we going to do, Mom? You haven't been able to change Dad's mind for years. I don't think you're going to be able to change him now. It looks like no. You need to be president. We need to make that happen. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get from Texas Barbecue the venison. And I'm going to cook it up the way your dad likes it. I'm going to make the coleslaw, grill the cheese. You're going to take it into your dad, and you're going to pretend to be Eric. Your voice, your dad can't see real well. All he sees is shadows. Your voice and your brothers, they sound pretty much, people are always getting you mixed up on the phone. And you wheel that card in, and you have that meal, and you sign it, and once it's signed, if your dad later figures out what happened, nothing he can do about it. It's irrevocable. I couldn't believe she was saying that. I couldn't believe she would do that to Dad. I wanted to say, Mom, you're crazy. That's wrong. But I didn't. I wanted it so bad. I just said, Mom, it won't work. Dad will figure out I'm not Eric. She said, no, I have a plan. Your brother did not take his hunting jacket with him when he went to South Texas. You'll wear that jacket. Your dad will feel it, and he'll smell Eric also. We've got to try it. Otherwise, it's gone. So later that night, the day after Eric left, I wheeled the cart in to Dad. Dad! Who is it? It's me, Dad, Eric. I brought the venison and the grilled corn and the coleslaw and the Vaughn's hard rolls. He looked at me. His eyes were cloudy and liquid, but I felt like he can see right through me. He said, how did you get it so fast, Eric? Did you whistle for the deer and it came running to you? No, Dad. It was God, okay? I got a kill early this morning. God made it happen. It's his sign that he wants us to eat and sign the papers. It's God. Come here, Eric. And he got up out of his chair. A handshake, it's too formal for family. Come give me a hug, Eric. Come give me a hug. Oh, God, he's going to find out. He's going to find out. He's going to find out. I had to give him a hug. He buried his nose in my neck. When you're blind, you depend on other senses, smell, hearing, touch. His hearing says it sounds like James's voice. But the jacket is Eric's. The smell is Eric's. Come, Eric. Let's eat. We ate. We ate until we couldn't eat another bite. Finally, Dad says, Eric, time to sign, time to sign. He reached into the drawer of his desk and he brought out some papers. I looked at them, what the lawyers had done. It gave total control of the company to the son whose name would be in that blank spot. That son would have control of all national, international operations. He would have the decisions in all hiring and firing. He would determine how any relative would or would not be involved in the company. And once it was signed, it was binding. It could not be changed. He said, Eric, put my hand on the line where I'm supposed to add my signature. And I did. I put it where it was. And he wrote, Ike Abrams. And then I went to the line where and I wrote, James Abrams. It's signed, Dad. It's signed. And he said, Eric, before you leave, let me pray. Let me pray for you. And he prayed. He prayed that I would run the company with Christian principles, that I would prosper it internationally and nationally, that everything that I did would have God's blessing on it. He prayed. And at that moment, I was so ashamed. I was ashamed of my father's blindness. I was ashamed of my mother's scheming. I was ashamed of my brother's worthlessness. But most of all, I was ashamed of myself. What I was doing to get a good thing. I left his office, got out into the hallway, saw Mom threw Eric's jacket down on the floor. I was going to head out back to get into my car and drive to my apartment, but just then I heard Eric's car drive into the front, and I didn't want him to see me leaving. Mom picked up the jacket, hung it up in the closet. I ran upstairs, went down the hall to my old room. I looked out the window, and I saw Eric getting out of his four-wheelers. He had plates with aluminum foil, and I thought, oh no. He's got the venison. He's going to go in to Dad. And I listened on the intercom. Dad had fallen asleep after the huge meal that we had. So when Eric went in, he had to wake him up. Hey, Dad! Dad! And Dad is, what? Who is it? What do you want? Who are you? Dad, it's me, Eric. I brought the food. That we were going to eat it. We're going to sign. We're going to sign. Dad? Dad! Why are you shaking? Dad, why are you shaking? Dad, stop shaking. And Mom is listening on there. She thinks Ike's having a stroke. I'm getting ready to call 911. But pretty soon, Dad's voice becomes real clear. Eric, I've already signed the papers. Eric, whose name is there? Whose name is on that? James. James, you son of a... James, I'm going to kill you. I swear to God, James, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. Dad, it's James. Dad, you've given him everything. He has everything. Dad, what's for me? What can you give? I can't change it. It won't do any good to challenge it in court. It won't succeed. Dad, what can I do? What can I... Maybe you can go somewhere else where you won't have to look at it every day, where you won't have to see it all the time. Maybe you and Jody can go to another country, make another life for yourself. Go down to Mexico, start a club down there. I don't know what to tell you. This afternoon, I got a call from Mom again. She said, I'm going to come down and talk to you. She came down to the downtown office. She said, your brother's going to kill you. Oh, no, Mom, no, he was just mad. No, I thought that too. When he came out of your dad's office, I saw the veins bulging in his neck, and I never saw such hatred and violence in anybody's eyes. But I thought, he'll calm down, he'll calm down. But James, this morning I got a call from Virginia. You know Virginia. She's Tom's wife. Tom is the company attorney. Tom's Eric's best friend. They work out at the club, health club, every day. I don't know if Tom should have done this. I don't know about lawyer confidentiality stuff. But Tom told his wife, Virginia, about what Eric said to him at the health club. Eric said to him, Tom, I'm going to tell you something, because I know it'll be confidential. My dad's going to die pretty soon. And when he dies, I'm telling you, because I want somebody to know it, I'm telling you, I'm going to kill my brother. I'm going to make it look like an accident so nobody will know. But I'm going to kill him. James, Virginia called me this morning. I'm not sure that it should be happening. But James, I'm scared. Your dad, this hit him harder than I thought. I don't know if he's going to make it. And if he dies and James does something to you and they find out that he did it and all three of you are gone, I can't take that. James, my brother Leonard runs a pipeline up in Alaska. You go up there, he'll give you a job. If things ever get better around here, I'll email you or call you and you can come back. But you've got to get out of here. You want a good thing? A good thing. You want a grade. You want a marriage. You want children. You want a career. You want a good retirement. You want a good thing. You want a good thing. You want a good thing. My plane leaves in an hour for Fairbanks. I didn't buy a return ticket.